It's funny because when we watched the Democrats these past 4 years and earlier than that too, we pointed out many times when things weren't going Joe Biden's way in the polls, for example, while he was just president or while he was running, they would constantly say, we've got to change the message. Like, people aren't understanding how great he is. Like, it's the messaging that's the problem, as opposed to the underlying policies or like the actual choices he was making, open borders for one. And now it seems like they're in the same damning cycle where the reports are, what we need is more online influencers. What we need is our own Joe Rogan. So we're going to throw money at developing a Joe Rogan type on the left. And from my perch, all I can think is, that's not it. When you get your, well-funded left-wing guy who is a man's man, who's into like martial arts and mixed martial arts and is cool and is funny and somebody that other guys can look up to, he cannot then spend the 2 hours saying, you can't say that word and you can't say that word. And we have to begin with a land acknowledgement and that's where the Democrat Party largely is right now.
Look, I think most Americans are good people. And I think, when culture changes, we have to have some grace with individuals to change along with it or to adapt with those changes. I think most Americans are good people who are not bigoted, who are not racist, who are not hateful, but want to live in a pluralistic society that treats all sides and all identities fairly. And what you kind of see with the Democratic Party right now is just this hyper emphasis on all the things that this country has done wrong in the past, what needs to be done moving forward to right those wrongs. And in the meantime, there's just a lot of hateful rhetoric being spewed at people who might have identified as Democrats their entire lives, might have voted as Democrats their entire lives. But there might be a social issue here or there that they're not comfortable with, or maybe they're worried about what they're experiencing in the big city that they're living in that's currently being run by Democratic lawmakers, Democratic governor or mayor, and they want to see some changes and reforms. But if they voice their opinion on those reforms, they'll get dogpiled all over the internet, and they'll be out, made out to be like a terrible person. And what I'm seeing on the right now, and again, I don't know if this is just what happens to be part of the culture on the right or if it's a, political strategy. There's less judgment and more openness to absorbing people into their party. And that's how you win. That's how you win.